Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a DUIK face rig. Remember, DUIK's a free add-on for After Effects that you can get. Just type in DUIK on the Google. Otherwise, let's get started. So you guys should have two files. Let's import both of them in. So I'm just going to drag them one at a time. Face rig in. Make sure this is checked to composition, the import kind. This will just split up the layers for you from the Illustrator file. And if we double click on the composition, which is the face rig, it's turned off. So let's do a little bit of cleanup first on this guy, which would be these two, which would be on this where the ears are in front of everything. This is the mouth. You can delete that because we have a separate mouth thing. So we just delete layer 6 and also go find the ears and drag them to be behind the head like so. And that looks pretty complete. After that, there's 3 layers at the top, which is layer 16 to 14. These needs to be renamed. There's also one layer that should be incorrect here, and that is the middle one. Layer 15, you can just delete that. The first one, we want to call this layer color, hair color. And then the bottom one, which is layer 14, we need to put this on top, is the hair stroke. I double clicked, but this should do it. Nope. Hair stroke. Cool, that should be done. I also moved the glasses up as well because they're not in the right position. So once you get that looking like that, next we should go in and import our mouse in. Let's just right click and drag that in, and the same thing, composition. And then we're just going to go into this little mouth comp because it's separated for us, and just go from there. So the first thing we're going to do on the mouse thing, on the mouth in the composite, we want to link all of them inside and color to the mouse stroke, so that if we, for example, scale it down, it will scale everything down. And then afterwards, what you want to do after that is duplicate M color, move it on top of M inside. We want to hit this switch. If you're over here, we want to hit to where it says track matte, and then we want to click on the M inside and change that to M color 2, which will bring back all the colors, but we'll also have this on top. This is just a track matte, so once it just helps with the act of disappearing and closing and stuff like that. So now if I were to unlink this, if I were to scale it up and down, this would close the mouth indefinitely, which is what we want basically. So that is basically done. One last step is we want to copy this over to the other side. So we want to go copy and just put this in front of the head. I can see it. There we go. And now we have our mouse. Maybe we need to put it into we need to put it a little bit higher, maybe above the cheeks, but that's up to you for you to decide. I decided to do that, and then after that we want to go and click on, we want to toggle our switches back so we can see this shy guy icon. We're going to shy guy all of these, and just press on the shy guy just to manage our scene a little bit better, guys. I just did a little bit of rejigging, so I have my hair colors. This is how I have my layers. Let me just make it a bit larger for you guys. So just in case you guys want to follow it, just made my layers make a little bit more sense and look better during the break. I mean, during my little edit time. But otherwise, ignoring the hair stroking color, we're going to select everything. I'm going to select all layers. Press P to get the position icon out. And then we need to select them individually now. So so we need to select the position of these guys. So position, and then we have to make sure we select each one holding Shift or Alt. It's Shift. Make sure you click the position only, so it highlights that. As you can see, this is what happens when you select it wrong, and you can't deselect it. So I'm gonna select all of these. If I get it right. Just click on every single position, And once you are done, there's one more. We're going to right click and separate dimensions, which will give you an X and Y position for everything. After that, you want to create some keyframes. So we're going to click on the stopwatch. This should do it for every single value, unless you missed out something. And then we want to go to 10 keyframes. 10 frames along. And then we want to click on this diamond to put one there. I'm gonna zoom it out just a little bit. Guess it won't work. And then I'll go to 20 for the 20 keyframes and put another keyframe over there. Okay, for the next bit, we're gonna do the hair thing after setting those keyframes. So what we need to do is we need to convert these guys. So we're gonna right click and we need to create shapes from vector layers. This will give us basically the shape of it in a vector, so we can go into, for example, the path of this guy and change it, for example. You see that? And let's do the same thing for the other one. So I'm gonna go to the color and right click and create shape from vector layer, and we got the color, we got the fill, and we also got the stroke. After that, let's delete the old AI the Illustrator file, which is the hair color with the orange symbol, and then that should be it. Actually, yeah, we should have all of it. Just please note that this one we're gonna actually have to enable both the pathings because of how it's generated the things. So what we want to do is we want to click keyframes for both of these guys, and then on 10 keyframes we also want to hit let me just select it quicker. We want to do that, and then on 20 we also want to hit those path, and then after that we want to press Ctrl A to highlight everything and press U so we can just minimize everything. Okay guys, once you have set that all up, basically what we're gonna do is have our face, this middle keyframe being our neutral position. So I quite like this neutral position. So on the left we're gonna have it look to the left, and then on the right side we're gonna have it look to the right. So yeah, let's get that started. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go down to maybe the ears position maybe, and move this one, select this keyframe only, and I'm going to move this slightly to the right because in perspective it's going to hide more. The next one, I'm going to select it and I'm going to move it out a little bit, and then for the position of the head we want to go and select that keyframe, and we want to move it to the right a little bit, and then after in this position now we can kind of judge how far everything needs to go. So for example, this one needs to go a little bit back probably, and yeah, we'll just keep on going along, moving upwards. So for example, the eyes, I'm going to click on where it is and I'm going to move it to the right. Of course it's going to look hidden, but everything's going to move eventually. So we'll slowly do this, and I'll get back to you once I've kind of finished moving everything to the left. So things to be note of, so if you go click on this or this, it selects all of these. Make sure you only select the one, you actually select this one, otherwise you overwrite your neutral keyframe and you have to do it again. Or just position it back, and just be super careful. And what we should get here, once we're done with that, we should get to this point where we've kind of done everything, but the hair doesn't move yet, and we'll get onto that right this moment. But as you can see, that's already looking pretty decent. It's doing the thing. What we want to do here is under hair strokes and hair outlines, we want to press Shift P, which will give us the position hotkey again. So what we want to do there is just enable all of them. And then for the mid, we want to enable keyframes for the start on 10 frames. Got to be careful because it's getting mighty confusing. But hopefully we got it correct, like there. And what we want to do here is the same thing. We want to select both of these guys. So I want to select that. Let me just make sure I've selected it separately. We're going to select both of them and split the dimensions, or separate dimensions. And for this one, I'm going to move it to the left a little bit. And then on this one, I'm going to hit and try to align it again as best as possible. And now if we look at it, it does the job. However, it stays in position. So this is where the path comes into play, where we can make it more bouncy or more like fluid hair looking. So let's get to it. So what we need to do here is actually edit the path, but be careful with the first outline because of how it's generated it. It's actually doubled up, so it's kind of done a way, it's generated in a way where it has an outline for the outer rim and the inside rim, and it's filled inside. This is because of the asset that I have found. It's not the best, but it will do. So what you want to do here is we want to go to these frames, and we want to just kind of just gently move everything across, but make sure we do a box selection so it kind of does it nicely, like so. And move these guys to the left as well. Ooh, maybe I need to select it a bit more, but as you can see, this is how we're doing it. And after we get to a good position with all doing this slowly, maybe we need to move the graphs a little bit. Okay, I'm going to refrain from moving the grass because of how it's generated it, but if we just move it, it's kind of done it a bit. It looks a bit better, right? However, it doesn't move the hair color doesn't move. So we just go do the same thing with the path. We're going to select it, and then we're just going to put it into position. This one will be easier because it's generated only one set, so we just have to roughly put it behind the little guy. So for example, this one needs to go here, this one needs to go here, this one needs to go down here. These ones go in there. These ones need to go down here. And that should do it, I believe. Yeah, so now if we look at it a little bit further out, it kind of moves a bit better. The hair actually is sticking out over here, so what we need to go do is find where it is, which is the hair right, and just move it back just a tad bit so that it's in position properly. Ooh. That's in position. That's just not keyframing properly. Kind of didn't really move. Let me just push it out just a tad bit so it looks like it's moved. Something like that. So once we got that sorted out, once we have the other half, you guessed it, we've got to do the other half. So let's move our playhead to the other side, and let's start from the bottom again. Well, from the head position actually, and make sure you select it and then move it to the right, and then from there, from that position, we can adjust everything else. So for example, the right ear, we can move it in a little bit to see less of it. We can, on the ear left, we can move it closer because it's a bit far out. And then for example, we just go back through everything. So the eyes need to move over here probably. The cheek left needs to be over here more. And then of course we can always go back to it once we've kind of finalized our positions of everything, so we can see everything better, and we can always edit it as we go along. But I'm going to do this for a little bit and I'll come back. And once again, just as a reminder, once we get to this hair position, remember we have to go and adjust the X position of the hair, so around there. And then we want to adjust the X position of the hair like there. And then let's see how that goes. It looks pretty good. And then we want to, after that, we want to just adjust, we just want to adjust the pathing of this so that it looks like it's being kind of pulled, to the right more, so the angle changes a little bit and shape it from there basically. So I'm going to go change the stroke first, like so. Make it follow the shape like before. That should do it. And then I'll also pull this in a little bit, like so. Oh, that almost messed it up a little bit. Kind of like this. Cool. And then I will do the same thing and match the path of the fill to be the same. Cool, so now we should have this. Let's put it to up to 100%. It's kind of, the hair's kind of growing. I don't like that, so I will go back into it. But as you can see, that's what we have. It's pretty good, I think. Pretty good. The hair's growing up a little bit when it goes to the right, which I don't like. But yes, if you have that position, we can move on to the next step. And if you're happy with it, with all the positions and stuff, then we can go to the next step. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So we got something like this. What we want to do now is go to Windows, open DUIK Angela.jsx. You might get some warning symbols. It might take some time to load in. Hopefully we get there. But now we want to go, once we got the window open, we want to go to this third tab along, the links and constraints, this connector. And then we want to add a 2D slider in. After the 2D slider in, it gives you two little things, the control of the slider and the actual slider itself. What we want to do here is just make it a little bit bigger, like so, and move it across to the other side. So after you've made your controller into a good position, we want to select the paths and the X value. So hold shift when you're doing this. The paths and the X value. Scroll down, and after that we just want to select the X position, all of the X positions like this, like so, a few more. There we go. And then after that, if you don't see it, just make sure you make it a little bit bigger. And make sure it's on value and on the X on this slider, and make sure it's connecting onto the right slider, which should be the first one. This should be the correct name, and then you just click on properties. And now it should have done its thing and linked it over. So now if we were to move this little ball around, it should move our guy left and right. So this gives us more freedom in our keyframing the head tilt. I'm going to Control Z that just so get back to the default position. I'm also going to quickly change the background to white so you can see this a little bit better as well. Okay, next thing we need to do, because we got the X and Y position, the X position down, we need to do the Y position now. So what we have to do now is, because it's got this red value means it's connected to this slider, we have if we scrub along the timeline, it's completely blank. So what we want to do here is just kind of do the same thing as we did left and right on both sides of things. So for example, this left keyframe is going to be looking downwards, and then this one's going to be to the upwards. So so yeah, I'm going to go record little bits and tell you whilst I do it some tips and tricks. But otherwise, I'm just going to do it. So I'm going to move this one down, the head down. Make sure you click on the keyframe like so. And then I'm going to move the ears down. I'm going to actually select both of them at the same time. So I'm going to select both of them like this, if they're the same thing. And then I'm going to move them down at the same time, so I don't have to worry about them. Eyes, I'm going to move this guy a little bit further down than I would. And then cheeks and both cheeks I'm going to move down as well. Scroll up now, move the stroke position, the mouse stroke a little bit lower, maybe so that the mouth is actually down, really far down, like off the face kind of down, which gives it quite a good effect. And then the glasses, I'm going to have it really down as well. The nose, I'm going to have it lower as well, like around there. Eyebrows, left and right, I'm going to go and push them down like there. And H and R, hair left and right, because it's because we're seeing them when it goes down, we're probably seeing them more, so we're going to have them higher. But before that, I'm going to move we're going to move what's it called, the hair position, the hair Y position, and the hair outline position to go lower as well, so we can see it properly. So around there-ish, I'll say. And then we're going to do the same with these two, and just put them just so that it's on top like that. And now it looks pretty convincing, I would say. Maybe the eyes need to go a little bit further down just to give the position, just to give the look. It's a little bit finicky because we are making a 2D image. Trying to make it look 3D. So let's see. That looks good enough, and then I'll do the same for the next keyframe. So I will go to keyframe 10, and then we'll move it upwards this time. So we're going to start off with the head position all the time, because the head position is the main thing that we work towards. I'm going to move it up like that, and then I'm going to go put select both of these and move these guys up with it just slightly. And then the eyes, we're going to have these guys actually a bit higher up than normal. Maybe that position. We'll see once we get there. Move these guys up as well. M stroke, we're going to have this one super high, like maybe up here. Glasses, we're going to have really high up as well. The nose, we're going to have where the glasses is, around there. The eyebrow left and right, I'm gonna go have them where the eye is. I can't really see it right now because the hair is covering it. And then for the hair stroke position, we want to go and highlight both of these guys, and make sure it's high, something like there or there. Something like there, I'll just say around there. And then we'll adjust the little hairbands like so. So we have these guys, I'm going to move it just so that they're invisible, and let's see what that looks like. So it does look like it's looking up and down. It's kind of convincing, but I'll take a little bit of time to adjust this. So once you're done with that, we need to go back over to pick a controller. Make sure we have our C slider 2D controller selected, and we want to change our axis to Y, and we need to go and highlight every Y position now. So let's select that Y position, shift select this Y position, shift select this Y position. No. Shift select that Y position. This one is always going to be the bottom one. A little bit finicky. Oh god, there's a lot. Let's go do it. No! I'm sad. Let me just go highlight that. Okay, we got that all highlighted. After we got all of that highlighted, all we have to do is press properties again, and that should put it back into default position. And if we scroll back up, click on this guy, we can move it up and down and all around, and it should look pretty decent. But the problem here, as you can see, if I go upwards, it goes down, and if I go downwards, it goes up. One way to fix that would be to just go over to the effect controls over here, change the minimum value to 100 and the minimum value to minus 100. And now if I were to do it, it would respond correctly. Yeah, it looks pretty good, guys. It looks pretty good. It's got every single view perfectly. After that, we need to make animations and sliders for the mouth, the eyes, and maybe the eyebrows. So let's get to that. What we want to do here is press Control A on over here and just close down everything, and just click off everything so we can see it better. What we want to do first is probably the eyes. So over here, we want to press S, and then we want to make sure we're on 0 frames for that. And we want to go change, we want to click on this, which will unlink the scale, and then we want to click on a keyframe for that. And now, because these are fast actions, we want to go and only move across 3 frames, and make this to a scale of maybe 5, and then another 3 frames across to maybe 6, and we want to go to 100%. So that's the keyframes for that. Next, we want to do the same thing for the mouth. So let's open up the mouse stroke, so S, and then we want to keyframe that. Make sure it's unchecked. Gotta do it backwards a little bit there, and change this frame to 5. Maybe try 10. Just a little bit more open. So now we have it blinking and stuff. And then lastly, we want to do the eyebrows left and right. So we want to turn on the rotation for this. Rotation on this one. Have these guys go from a neutral position. So I'm going to start the keyframe there. And then I want this side to be maybe... let's just see what it looks like. Minus 15 maybe. This one will be obviously positive 15. And then this one at 6 ones will be 15. Maybe a bit more. We want it angry. So maybe like 30. 30 looks pretty good. And minus 30 over here. And that should do it. That looks pretty decent. Okay, once you set up your new all your animations, so such as like this, all you need to do is make some sliders for it. So let's go with the eyes. And also, just a quick note before we move on, you can put different shapes onto this once you get more confident. This is just a starting point, of course. So what we want to do is go back, and we want to add a slider, just a normal slider. The first one was a 2D slider. This is the other slider. We want to go to CBG and scale it up a little bit. Let's make it a round number so it's easier to do. And then we'll also move this across to the kind of right side of this. There we go. And then we have all our slider settings. We're going to want to change the type to value. And then afterwards we want to select all of our eyes eye keyframes and just set properties. And now if we slide it, it should do its thing, but it's not. So I must have done something wrong. Let's just try again. So let's just go back. So let's close this and let me just see if there's a warning issue. Oh, that's fine. No warning. Go to connectors, gotta put a slider in, gotta scale it up to about 300%. Gotta move this across. No. And I'm gonna go scroll back down to the eyes, gonna select it and press properties, and now the eyes closed, so it looks like it has worked, and now it is doing its thing, which is great. I don't know why it didn't work the first time though, but if that does happen to you, just restart basically. Okay, the next one we're gonna do the eyebrow rotation. So what we want to do is deselect everything, hit the X button, go to connectors, and we want to have angle. Hopefully the angle comes up soon. Don't think the angle's coming up. Let's try again. There's my angle. And then always the bottom one, you press scale, and then we'll scale it up to 300 just to keep it consistent, and we'll move it over here. Well, that's really big. Let me be like 250. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm gonna go and highlight these ones and keep the angle, the value the same, and then properties. Okay. Now, if I go to this tool, this W tool, rotation tool, it should allow me to rotate my eyebrows around. So I can be angry or nervous or whatever. Cool. And then lastly, let's do the mouse. So let's close this one down, go to connector and just the normal slider. Now we know what this is. So what the scale value of this is 300. And then we're gonna go back to our moving tool. Oh, not like that, sorry. Wanna select our thing. Let's just go back a little bit just in case I accidentally selected anything that I should not have. And then we'll just move it to the side like so. And then we're gonna scroll back down, check the slider that is the correct one, highlight, and now all our sliders should be functioning. So I should be able to move this, press W, move the eyebrows. Yep, it's subtle, but you can. And then go move the head around. Yeah, amazing. So a few more setups that you can do to help you see a bit better. Organizing, which is essentially just shy guying everything apart from the controllers. So if I just slide all of these guys down, so select here to here and click the shy guy. Now I have everything. I have just a slider, and I can rename these. So for example, I can rename these if you would like, but I will not. And just to keep everything like perfect, you should. This is a face rig, and we want to have a duplicate called face rig 2, but we want to rename that, of course, to the animation. So animation, and this is where you'll put, like, for example, this guy, you would want to put your position keyframe in. So keyframe, and then move the frame a little bit forwards, move this guy up, looking up, and as you can see, does some really nice stuff, guys. Feel free to play around with this. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's do a little bit of, let's see if we can get a little bit of something in there. How come this has got something inside? Not sure why that had anything inside. If it does, it's just a random expression. You can just get rid of it. But what I'm going to do here is keyframe over here and move it up over here and say have a mouth closed right there. So we have it now. Really cool stuff. Anyway guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Bye.